Join All My Children, Tad had discovered the tracking device that Adam had planted in the teddy bear. And now, All My Children.
I am the world's biggest jerk.
Now look, how could anyone have known that Adam would put something inside the bear?
I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming a mile away.
Ted, this is not your fault.
It is my fault. It's practically a law of nature. Adam Chandler doesn't fight fair. I should have been more careful.
Ted, you were not living in that house. I was. I should have thought that he would do something with the bear. My goodness, he offered to bring it upstairs for me. I mean, that's a dead giveaway right there. I am the fool.
Oh, Dixie, who are we kidding? He's Adam Chandler. He would have caught us no matter what we did.
Jack warned us. We just should have listened to him.
Well, so let me suggest to you that you don't make the same mistake twice. Now, I want both of you to listen to me. Today may be the most stressful experience you ever go through, but I want you to just stay calm and don't do anything to jeopardize your case, okay?
Okay, I'll try.
The court needs to see a calm, mature, thoughtful mother.
Yes, sir.
A mother who would never think of doing anything that would put her baby in harm's way. Now, it's going to get rough in there. It's going to get nasty. I just want you to stay calm, no matter what they throw at you, okay?
Okay.
Speaking of staying calm, here we go. Palmer, do us all a favor. Don't say it. Dixie's already been through enough as it is.
And whose fault might that be? Have you two lost the sense you were born with? How on earth do you expect to win custody with that damn foolish behavior? Running off, behaving like teenagers. Now, you've made my work practically impossible.
Your work?
Keeping this family intact. And that means a swift exit for you. I want you out of my niece's life now.
No way.
You've brought nothing but trouble since you met her.
I was only trying to help.
This is not Ted's fault.
He may not have caused it, but he certainly didn't help it.
Now look, Uncle Palmer, I love Ted. I will not hear you talking to him like that.
Seems to me, I heard you saying the same thing about Adam.
Well, I didn't know Adam. But I know Ted. I've looked inside his heart, and he's a good and kind, decent human being. But I'm going to be with the rest of my life.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
You don't. You may own half the world, Palmer, but if you really knew Dixie, you'd be able to see that she needs me more right now than she ever has. So that's all we need to know. You go on barking at your half of the world. As far as we're concerned, we're deaf and we're out of here.
What's so amusing?
Not amusing. Satisfying. So many victims.
What are you gawking about?
All the people you've manipulated. This time, I don't think you're going to make it.
Well, everybody has a weakness, a flaw, an Achilles heel.
Indeed, they do. I think yours is named Tad Martin.
Sweetheart, how wonderful. I can use some support right now.
Gee, that's too bad, Daddy. Jack, I'm here to help Dixie. I'll testify, I'll do whatever I can to help her win.
Don't do this, Sky.
And why shouldn't I? Because family loyalty demands that I protect you, Daddy? Sorry. My family loyalty right now is with my little brother. I'll do whatever I can to stop that baby from being raised by Chandler.
Sky, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I already have several witnesses for Dixie. Are you sure you don't want to avoid this?
Are you kidding? It's about time my daddy dear got some of his own back. You go on ahead and just call on me if you have to.
I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Maybe it's because I have a conscience.
You can't go on blaming me for everything that's bad or wrong in your life.
I don't blame you for everything. I simply give credit where it's due. Dixie. Dixie, I owe you a very big apology.
Sky, you don't have to.
No, I do. When you married my father, I was horrible to you. And I'm sorry for that and for every ugly word I ever said to you. I hope that I can make up for that today. I know that my little brother belongs with you.
Thank you so much.
Sharper than the serpent's tooth, isn't it? Oh, shut up, Palmer. Your own daughter turning against you. What a shame. Of course, you could look on this as a kind of preparation, because I'm sure Adam Jr. will do exactly the same thing one day.
Why don't you go away?
Remember the pledge we made the night of the christening? End the bad blood, seal the rift. All the time you were planning to rip that child away from its mother's breast. Well, let me make a pledge for you right now. I will not rest until my great-nephew is in the Cortland house again, where he belongs.
You'll never take anything away from me, Palmer. Never. Especially not my son.
You'll choke on those words one day.
Mr. Chandler, can I speak to you? The hearing's about to start.
Yes, sir, I know, but I thought you'd want to know. I called the office, and the meeting with the Duchess about the purchase of Channel 5 is confirmed for later today.
Good, she's going to want proof of my cash base.
Doesn't she have that already?
No, not quite. They kept upping the price. I haven't gone after mortgage some of my companies.
Mortgage? Were you going to First National?
No, too public. I don't want to risk any leaks in this deal. Listen, this is a list of private lending houses. Very discreet. Compare rates, terms, double-check everything. I want you back here with a done deal by the time this hearing's over.
Will do.
Oh, well, it's the partners in crime, is it not? Do you run your hospital the same way you run your home, Joe? I understand you help people kidnap babies. Maybe you use the hospital to help sell them.
Let me tell you something, Chandler. Dixie and Tad were right to do what they did. And if there's any justice, this hearing today is going to recognize that.
Don't hold your breath.
You know, that child belongs with a decent and loving parent. You're neither, and you never will be.
You don't know what you're talking about.
If you had any love for your son, you'd let him be with his mother. But no, Adam Chandler thinks only of Adam Chandler.
We'll just let the court decide who's the better parent, won't we?
Well, they will do that if you haven't bought the court. But Adam, even if you do win, you'll lose. And so does your son. Because what you're doing to poor Dixie is going to leave scars on that baby as long as he's alive.
You know, it's amazing to me how you two always know what's right. Save me from the saints of Pine Valley.
You are going to ruin that little boy's life.
One more word out of you, and I'm going to prosecute both of you along with Tad and Dixie.
Really? Well, I would love to see you make a court case out of this. But I'll tell you something more. What I would really love is to end this right and now, just between the two of us.
The hearing's about to start.
I wouldn't waste my time with you, Joe.
All rise. This hearing is now in session. Case number 5130, Chandler versus Chandler, in the matter of the custody for Adam Chandler, Jr. I will hear from Mr. Montgomery first. Have you a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I move that you disqualify yourself from this case.
Your grounds?
Personal involvement with Adam Chandler.
I have never met the man. Never seen him until today, never communicated with him.
But your party affiliation and personal relationship with the Attorney General of this state are no secrets.
Motion denied.
Exception.
So be it. And may I say that I strongly object to your implication of impropriety on the part of this justice and resent any attempt to impugn the integrity of this court.
That's a wonderful technique. Offend and insult the judge.
Palmer, look, if Goodman is honest, then he will bend over backwards to be fair to Dixie. If he has been gotten to, then I have entered that suspicion into the record.
Won't win the case.
No, but it's a hell of a good basis for future appeals. Your Honor, I have several witnesses I'd like to bring in front of the court at this time.
No need. Both sides have provided ample written testimony, which I have studied at great length for this last week. Would these witnesses offer any new evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Well, then I see no point in prolonging what must be a painful procedure for all sides. The custody decision should be reached promptly for the good of the child involved.
I concur, Your Honor. And therefore we ask that the court grant legal custody of Adam Chandler, Jr. to his mother, Dixie Cooney Chandler.
Do you wish to contest Mr. Chandler's assertions that Mrs. Chandler is an unfit mother?
Most assuredly, yes, Your Honor. There is no basis in fact for these assertions. They are a carefully engineered web of lies. The unfit parent in this case is Adam Chandler.
Objection.
Who graphically illustrated this with his diabolical attempt to keep a perfectly sane woman locked up in a mental institution.
Objection, Your Honor.
I will allow this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, you have in front of you Deposition 12, which contains the official results of Dixie Chandler's sanity hearing, which declare her fully sound and competent. You will also find the psychiatric evaluation stating that she never was delusional or paranoid. Now, there are no eyewitnesses to any of the alleged attempts by Mrs. Chandler to harm her son. That's because these attempts were carefully designed by Adam Chandler to cast doubt onto his wife's abilities as being a mother. Now, this action by Mr. Chandler, in and of itself, is reprehensible and illegal. Coupled with the fact that he was using this to separate a mother from her child, becomes absolutely indefensible.
Objection. There is no evidence for this.
I have the evidence in front of me. Mr. Montgomery, please confine your argument to the evidence.
Your Honor, there is ample evidence. I have here many sworn statements attesting to the fact that Dixie Chandler was never other than a capable, loving, caring mother. I have more signed sworn statements describing the attempts by Mr. Chandler to keep her in an asylum when he knew she did not belong there.
Objection. Subjective conclusions which cannot be proven.
Mr. Montgomery, you will refrain from arguing from facts that are not in evidence.
Your Honor, the bottom line of this shameful episode is that Mrs. Chandler never was unstable, never was an unfit mother, while Adam Chandler has a public record of cruelty and lack of compassion and love for the people close to him, including his own daughter.
Objection.
I will allow this line of argument.
Your Honor, Adam Chandler is incapable of loving another human being. Therefore, he is unable to give this child the care, support, and love it so badly needs. Adam Chandler Jr. needs this love. He deserves this love. And the only person that can give him this love is his mother.
I must strongly object to that statement.
All right. I will hear from you now.
The so-called love that Mrs. Chandler has already shown to her child proves that she is incapable of being a responsible mother, and that she is a negative and dangerous influence on her child.
Objection! I have already ruled that I will hear from Mr. Carruthers. Please proceed, Mr. Carruthers.
A responsible mother should be, at the very least, a law-abiding citizen. And yet, Mrs. Chandler has shown a flagrant disregard for the law when she and her lover, Tad Martin, stole the baby from the loving home of Mr. Chandler and fled across the county line. What sort of a mother would subject an innocent child to the dangers of police pursuit? The possibility of gunfire and a high-speed car chase?
Objection, Your Honor. That is speculation and conjecture.
Montgomery.
Mrs. Chandler has violated both the court's temporary custody order and a court order obtained by her own uncle guaranteeing the welfare of the child.
It's not true.
Your Honor, I
He's
would
not
like to
telling it the way
respond.
it is.
Allowed, but keep it brief.
Look, we admit that Mrs. Chandler was trying to do everything she could to keep her child out of what she saw as harm's way.
Objection.
I am allowing Mr. Montgomery his say.
What we're asking the court is to put itself in Mrs. Chandler's shoes. To try to imagine the thoughts of a young mother looking at the potential of being separated from her child, her barely 4-month-old child, the child she carried, a child that she gave birth to, a child that she loves with every fiber of her being.
Adam Chandler loves his son. Is his love, a father's love, less worthy than a mother's? Criminal charges will no doubt be brought against Dixie Chandler. How will she be able to care for and raise her baby from a jail cell?
And if criminal charges are brought by Mr. Chandler against Mrs. Chandler, it only proves the fact that he's trying to keep her separated from her son permanently. It is tantamount to having her locked up in an asylum for the rest of her life, which he has already tried. Now, it is up to this court to stand in his way and stop him from harming another person that he supposedly claims to love.
There is no pretense here. Adam Chandler dearly loved his wife when he married her, loved her throughout this entire affair, and loves her now, even attempting to reconcile with her after she ran from him with another man. Your Honor will no doubt remember reading scores of testimony to this fact, and to the fact that Mrs. Chandler adamantly refused any rapprochement, which would certainly have led to a more stable home for her child.
Objection.
No. The fact is that Mrs. Chandler has remained bitter and hostile toward her husband, a behavior that she might very easily show to her child should the court award her custody.
Objection, Your Honor. That is outrageous.
The woman is emotionally unstable, immature, and devoid of any maternal...
Stop the lies. He does not love me. He never loved the baby. Please listen to me, sir. Please don't listen to them.
Dixie, please sit down.
Mr. Montgomery, Mr. Carruthers, you may both sit down. I would like to hear what Mrs. Chandler has to say. Now, Mrs. Chandler, would you step forward and take the stand, please? Bailiff?
Raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I most certainly do.
You may sit down.
You may begin, Mrs. Chandler.
Thank you. I'd like to start by saying, I think you must be a very fair man to let me come up here and talk like this. And so I hope you'll understand that, well, I didn't mean to break any laws, but the fact is that I had to. I had to save my baby from growing up with a man who breaks all the rules all the time. I knew that Adam would try and take my baby away from me. I knew it, and that's why I had to get him away from him. Because I love him. And baby needs his mother's love. I mean, every child needs a mother's love. Just, well, you know, I mean, just like he needs food and shelter. It would be terrible for any person to grow up without love, and that's why my baby can't grow up with Adam, because he does not know how to love. Adam Chandler does not know how to love. He said that he loved me when he married me, but he didn't. He was only doing it because he wanted the baby. And ever since then, he's been trying to get the baby away from me.
Why would he do that, Mrs. Chandler?
Well, sir, I think that it's a matter of ownership with him. He fathered the baby, therefore he owns it. And a mother would interfere with some of that ownership. Would interfere with his control, and Adam has to be completely in control, don't you, Adam? Completely. He tries to control everybody who tries to get close to him. He has to own them like he owns companies. Well, a baby is not a company. A baby needs to be held and hugged and loved by its mother. A baby needs to be taught right and wrong and unselfishness, and that he won't always be right, that he will make mistakes. And Adam can't teach him those things. He does not believe in them. And most important of all, a baby needs to be taught strength and love and values and be taught to be strong enough to grow up and leave his home. And that's what I want for my baby. I want him to have a chance at that. I want him to have strength and values and goodness and freedom. And when he's strong enough, I want him to have his own life. Now, I know that Adam here could buy my baby absolutely the world. But he can't buy him a mama. I know I've made mistakes. I know I've made a lot of mistakes. But, I mean, I never did any that would hurt the baby. Never. He's my reason. He's my reason for being on this earth. And I know that as sure as I know the sun comes up in the morning, I would raise him right. Please, please, sir, give me the chance to do that.
The woman is attempting to play on the sympathy of the...
Sit down, Carruthers. Mrs. Chandler, you may resume your place. I believe I have heard all that I need to hear. I will retire to chambers and make my decision.
All rise.